Imagine standing on a construction site, drawings in hand, watching a crew pour concrete for a building's foundation. Everything depends on getting that base right. For over 30 years, I've worked in construction, building structures that stand the test of time. But when it comes to my own life, I'm still figuring out how to build something solid. Welcome to Building Life, where construction meets consciousness. I'm AC Strong, and this podcast is my journey to heal and grow using the tools of construction to guide me and you toward a stronger, more meaningful life. Grab your tools and let's start building. I've spent over 30 years in the construction industry, working on job sites, studying architectural design, turning construction documents into reality. I know how to build a house, a commercial building, you name it. But building a life, that is a work in progress. Like a lot of you, I've got areas in my life, emotional, spiritual, that need some serious renovation. And that's why I'm starting Building Life. This podcast is my way to track my own healing journey, to figure out how to build a better version of myself, and to share that process with you. It all started on a job site a couple of years back, as the project manager and superintendent of a commercial roofing company. One of the crews was working on the removal and installation of a new roofing system. The crew had ripped a section of roof that they were unable to complete before heading home for the weekend. Before leaving site, they installed a self-adhered vapor barrier over the metal deck, tagged it to the completed section of roof, and sealed at the roof drains. Later that evening, I got a call from the building owner in a panic as water poured in through the new roof. I called the foreman and immediately met him on site. There was a flash flood of rain, and it was still raining when we got there. As we climbed on the roof, we could see that the incomplete section had created a bathtub filled with water and had nowhere to go. As it turned out, when the crew was demolishing the roof, they had stuffed a handful of insulation into the drain to prevent debris from falling in during the demo. This same preventative measure became the culprit for major disaster. Water will find the path of least resistance, and in this case, that became the lapse of the membrane and the tag to the new roof. Water infiltrated the insulation package, ran between the flutes of the metal deck, and spread damage throughout the entire commercial building. Many lessons can come from an incident like this, and you can learn a lot about yourself and others around you. It can become a teaching moment or an opportunity to scold and place blame. Fast forward a couple of months, I went grocery shopping and added a family pack of Wagon Wheels to my cart for my kids. When I got home, my daughter asked if she could have one. I said, sure, but these are snacks for school and you can only take one in your lunch each day. There was a total of 18 in the package. The next day, I got home from work and noticed the box sitting on the counter. I went to put them away and realized there was only one left in the box. I called my daughter out of her bedroom and asked where the rest were. She said, I was hungry, and I ate them. I snapped. I was furious. I could not believe how stupid and irresponsible it was to eat 16 Wagon Wheels in one sitting. I sent her to her room as I sat in the living room stirring, and then I started to reflect. How could I have handled this differently? How could I get her to understand how unhealthy that was? How could I turn this into a teaching moment? I went to the kitchen and called for her to join me. I apologized for how I reacted as I pulled out a digital scale for weighing food. I then grabbed a bag of sugar from the cupboard while explaining what I wanted her to do. She read the box to find out how much sugar was in each serving, multiplied it by 16, and then weighed out that exact amount of sugar into a bowl. This showed her how much sugar she had eaten, and her response was, "That's disgusting." Did she learn anything from this? Probably not, because as I was typing this section of my script, she came up and asked if I wanted to try one of the churros she had made in cooking class today. I said, sure, grabbed one out of the bag and took a bite, only to realize there was more sugar than churro. Later that evening, I thought back to that roof and how a simple mistake can spread significant damage. The damage, in this case, being my reaction, not a child eating 16 Wagon Wheels. I understood that my reaction was learned behavior that I probably got from my mother, and it was not something that I wanted to pass down to my children. I realized the principles I know from construction, planning, precision, resilience, could be tools to rebuild myself. In that moment, I messaged my friend Chris, who is a Campbell practitioner, and told him that I was ready to make some changes. That's what this podcast is about, using my passion for construction to guide my healing and inviting you to build alongside me. Here's the heart of building life. Construction isn't just about concrete, steel, and wood. It's about principles that can guide us to build stronger lives. This same process has been practiced for thousands of years. Speculative masons apply the principles of operative masons to guide their lives still today. Every building needs a blueprint, just like we need a vision for who we want to be. Every structure needs a foundation, just like we need stability to handle life's upheavals. I'm no expert in healing, honestly. I'm just starting out. But I am an expert in construction, and I'm betting the lessons I've learned on job sites can help me and you navigate the messy, beautiful work of personal growth. This podcast is about taking the practical, hands-on wisdom of construction and applying it to healing and self-improvement. We'll explore how laying a foundation for a building is like grounding yourself emotionally, or how framing a house is like setting boundaries in life. It's not about having all the answers. It's about building them together, one step at a time. This podcast is for guys like me, men who work hard, who value strength, but also know there's more to life than just getting by. Maybe you're a contractor who's seen how a well-built house can inspire a well-built life. Maybe you're someone who's never touched a hammer, but wants practical tools to deal with stress, doubt, or pain. I'm not here pretending I got it all figured out. I'm on this healing journey too, and I'm using my 30 years in construction as my guide. For example, I started taking a moment before a big project to just breathe, to check in with myself. It's like testing the soil before pouring concrete. You gotta know what you're working with. That's the kind of practical, no-nonsense approach we'll bring to building life. It's construction wisdom meets real talk about growing, healing, and living better. So what's coming up on Building Life? Each episode, I'll sit down with skilled contractors, carpenters, plumbers, electricians, who've learned lessons that go beyond the tools. We'll talk about how their trade applies to life, like how a mason's careful bricklaying can teach us patience in tough times. I'll also bring in experts in healing, like mindfulness coaches or therapists, to share tools we can all use to grow. You'll hear me try these tools myself, share what works and what doesn't as I build my own life. We'll cover topics like roofing over, covering and integrating past wounds, insulation and weatherproofing, protecting against life's storms, and demolition and renovation, tearing down to rebuild the self. The next few episodes, I will be solo to explain my own personal story, what led me here, what I've tried in the past, and what I plan to gain from all of this. After that, we're diving into blueprints and visioning, designing your spiritual path, where I'll talk about creating architectural blueprints as a process for manifesting a healthy life. And future episodes, I will interview professionals in the construction industry alongside other professionals that will guide with building life. Each episode will give you practical steps to start building your own life, just like I'm building mine. This isn't just my journey, it's ours. Building Life is a community for guys who want to build something stronger, inside and out. I want to hear from you. What's one area of your life you want to work on? Maybe it's confidence, relationships, or just finding some peace. Share your story in the comments below or send me a message. But try this today. Take a moment to think about a time in your life that what you thought to be a preventative measure turned out to be a disaster, or how you thought you were doing the right thing only for it to go south quickly. What is something that you could have done differently, and what were you able to learn from it? Mistakes are not intended to draw shame, but to learn and build for something better. We've all heard how successful people got there, by not giving up after failure, but by learning and improving until they succeed. Join me next episode for Daddy O's Got a New Excuse. I'll be talking about what drove me to construction and how that very thing is probably the root to a lot of my own internal pain. It's going to be a real, raw start to this journey. Don't miss it. That's it for our introduction episode of Building Life, where construction meets consciousness. I'm AC Strong, and I'm honored to be on this journey with you. I don't have all the answers, but I got a toolbox full of construction wisdom and a heart ready to learn. If you're ready to build a stronger, more meaningful life, hit that subscribe button so we can keep building together. Share your thoughts in the comments or send me a message. Until next time, grab your tools, physical or spiritual, and let's get to work. See you on the job site.